This is the history of makeup. It dates back to almost 4000 BC, starting with the Egyptians. In ancient Egypt, makeup was not used to make a woman nor a man more attractive. It was used to protect men, women, and children from the harshness of the sun and desert. Not only did people of every age wear makeup, but every social class. They made kohl eyeliner and malachite powder. The kohl was applied to their eyebrows, connecting to their eye's outer corner and deliberately applied along the top and bottom lash lines. Malachite was applied heavily from lash line to eyebrow, and in the earliest times it was used along with the kohl along the sides of the nose. They also rubbed essential oils on their face to protect them from the sun. In ancient India, makeup was also worn by everyone, but instead of kohl, they made kajal and ruby, emerald, pearl, gold, silver, and turquoise powders, instead of malachite powder. Skincare was important to them, as well as being clean. Only on the days they were being married would women use ruby, emerald, gold, silver, pearl, or turquoise powders, being their form of eyeshadow. They would also use gold and silver sprays in their hair on this day. On a daily basis, though, men, women, and children would have heavily lined eyes with the kajal, and a bindi would be placed between the eyebrows for every female, as long as they were not widowed. Henna was also used on special occasions, as well as to dye their hair and fingernails. When makeup reached ancient Greece, women loved it, but it was expensive and could only be bought by the rich. Poorer women did make their own, but it was not nearly as good. Men also frowned upon the use of makeup, seen as deceptive. This caused women to have to make it undetectable to the eyes of men. They filled in their eyebrows, lined their lash lines, and lightened their faces with a white powder. The powder for the wealthy was made with white lead and shortened their lives significantly. For the lower class, they would use chalk, but it did not last nearly as long. It was also believed in ancient Greece that eyelashes fell out due to extensive sex, so women would want long eyelashes to prove their chastity. In ancient Rome, unlike in Greece, makeup was not seen as deceptive, but as a way to make women more beautiful or attractive. They would cover up their lids with malachite powder, line their lash lines with kohl, and lighten their faces with white lead. Makeup only became popular after the Romans conquered Egypt and India. During the Middle Ages, fair, flawless skin was desired, as well as rosy cheeks and long eyelashes. Women also started plucking and shaping their eyebrows, as well as their hairlines. To achieve pale skin, women would drain the blood out of their bodies. In this time period, it was also a common belief among women that they should wear enough makeup to keep their husbands, but not so much that they took someone else's. Japanese geisha makeup is traditional to women of host houses. The women painted their faces white with a mixture of rice powder and water. The mixture coated their entire face, including their lips and eyelids. The outer corner of their eyes and the center of their lips were painted red. Their lashes were painted black. Their necks were also painted white, with a W left blank in the back. Their teeth were painted black, so that they did not compete with the women who were to be chosen for marriage. The women in the Elizabethan era also painted their faces pale with the thick paste. They plucked and dyed their eyebrows and hair. Large foreheads were desired. In this time, many people had smallpox, and as a result, they had scars from it that were like acne or chickenpox scars today. And the women would use their thick paste to hide these scars. The rest of their style mimicked after Queen Elizabeth, who had a large forehead, thin eyebrows, red hair, and fair skin due to her social status and the thick paste she also used to cover up smallpox scars. In the 1920s, women canceled out everything on their faces and would lighten them up to 3 shades lighter. They did this so that their eyes would stand out. They would also pack on the mascara to have thick, long eyelashes. They would cancel out their lips and redraw them in a small heart shape. They also liked really dark eye makeup and mimicked the styles of the flappers. The 30s, or the Great Depression. Makeup was expensive if it wasn't red lipstick. Lipstick sales skyrocketed due to the price dropping so much. Women would use red lipsticks as both lipstick and blush. For the few that could afford it, they would use foundations, powders, eyeshadows, and real blushes. But most women couldn't afford to look like the glamour stars of Hollywood, and most couldn't afford any makeup at all. In the 40s, makeup was still expensive because of the rations from the war, but red lipstick was seen as a good thing and support for the war efforts. To save money, women would use lipsticks as a blush again. Foundations and powders were becoming more popular, along with mascaras. In the 1950s, the sophistication was brought on with winged eyeliner and bold red lips. A breakthrough was made, and women started wearing foundation that actually matched their skin. Makeup was what women used to get a husband. The war was over, and there were less men, which meant more competition to get a husband, since few women had gone overseas and died with the men. In the 1960s, mod makeup looks came into play, most notably by Twiggy. Mod makeup contained bold geometric patterns. This was the age of the baby boomers, and as they made their mark on the world, it was clear that they were doing something different from past generations. These women loved false eyelashes, sometimes even using 2 sets at a time. They would also try to get their lips to match their skin. In the 70s, there were 3 main makeup styles. The first was natural. The second was disco with bright colors and glitter. The third was punk with crazy eyeliner and anything that would provoke outrage, like drawing a swastika on your face. The most popular one I found was the natural style and was modeled off of Farrah Fawcett. Self-tanners had just become available for commercial use, and women were loving it. But because it wasn't safe for their faces, they would apply it everywhere else and find foundations that matched their skin with the tanner. The 80s. Color was in. Bright, obnoxious colors, especially fuchsia. The women would use bright colors and glitter on their eyes, and bright lipsticks too. Their blush would be bold on the sides of their faces, from the apples of their cheeks to their ears, but it was never applied on the apples of their cheeks. On top of their bright-colored lipsticks, they would also put tons of lip gloss. When we hit the 90s, grunge came in and color was pushed out. Women had black smudged eyeliner and dark lips. Dark colors were very popular, as well as lengthening and thickening mascaras. This was also when matte foundations were introduced. Other makeup trends were natural, neutral, or anything copied off of the stars of TV shows such as Friends. Eyebrows were almost always plucked to nearly non-existing thinness and often drawn in due to over-plucking.